In the shadow of the pyramids, where the air tastes of sand and the Nile whispers secrets as old as time, a people faced the most terrifying night of their lives. It was not a night of stars and peace, but a night of judgment. A night that would forever etch itself into the annals of history and the hearts of a nation. This was the night of the 10th plague, the night when the firstborn of Egypt, from the Pharaoh's son to the child of the lowliest slave, would die. It was a night that would change everything. A night that would mark the beginning of the end of their captivity and the dawn of their freedom. The story of the Exodus is one of the most powerful and enduring narratives in human history. It is a tale of oppression, liberation, and the unyielding faith of a people chosen by a God who would not be ignored. At its core, the Exodus is a story about justice, about the struggle of the weak against the mighty, and about the promise of a better future. The 10th plague, the death of the firstborn, is the climactic moment of this narrative, a final, decisive act that would force Pharaoh to release the Israelites from their centuries-long bondage. The firstborn of Pharaoh, sitting on his throne, and the firstborn of the slave girl, working behind the millstones, were both marked by this plague. This stark juxtaposition of the highest and the lowest in Egyptian society underscores the comprehensiveness and impartiality of the divine judgment. It was a powerful statement that no one, regardless of their status or power, was immune to the consequences of their actions. The phrase, "the slave girl behind the millstones," is particularly evocative, drawing on an image that was likely proverbial in ancient Egypt for the lowest of the low. This detail adds a layer of authenticity to the narrative, grounding it in the cultural and social realities of the time. The terror of the night was compounded by the cries of anguish that filled the air. The Hebrew word asterisk, tzaka asterisk, which describes these cries, has a range of meanings from cry to scream. It is the same word used to describe the cries of the Israelites in their oppression, creating a powerful parallel between the suffering of the oppressed and the suffering of the oppressors. The symmetry is both chilling and just, a reminder that the cycle of violence and suffering will not continue unchecked. Yet, amidst this horror, the Israelites were spared. God had promised them protection, and He kept His word. The blood on the doorposts of their homes was a sign that would cause the angel of death to pass over them. This miraculous deliverance was not just a moment of escape, but a profound act of faith and obedience. The Israelites had to trust in God's instructions, even when they seemed strange or difficult. They had to take a lamb, slaughter it, and smear its blood on their doorposts. This act of faith was the key to their survival, and it would become the foundation of the Passover, a festival that would be celebrated for generations to come. The Passover, or Pesach asterisk, is a central ritual in Jewish tradition, commemorating the night when God delivered the Israelites from Egypt. The instructions given to Moses and Aaron are detailed and precise, reflecting the importance of this moment in the history of the Jewish people. The lamb, described as unblemished, a yearling male, is to be kept for 4 days before it is slaughtered. The blood is to be applied to the doorposts and lintel of each home, a visible sign of God's protection. The meal is to be eaten in haste, with shoes on their feet and staffs in their hands, ready to depart at a moment's notice. This urgency is a reminder of the immediacy of their deliverance and the need to be prepared for the journey ahead. The night of the Passover is a night of watch, a night when God kept vigil over his people. The same verb used to describe the Israelites' keeping of the lamb, *shmr*, to keep, watch, observe, is used to describe God's watch over them. This repetition emphasizes the reciprocal nature of their relationship with God. Just as the Israelites were to keep the Passover, God was to keep them safe. The Passover is not just a historical event, but a living tradition, a reminder that God's presence and protection are always with those who trust in him. The Exodus from Egypt, *Yetziat Mitzrayim*, is a defining moment in Jewish history, a symbol of liberation and the beginning of a new chapter in the life of the Israelites. The repetition of the verb to go out in the narrative, referring to both the Israelites' departure from Egypt and Moses' angry departure from Pharaoh's court, creates a thematic link between the two events. Moses' anger, the first explicit indication of such a reaction in his interactions with Pharaoh, is a response to Pharaoh's implacability and the impending doom that is about to befall Egypt. It is a foreshadowing of the final act of deliverance, a moment when the tension and conflict between Pharaoh and Moses reach their climax. The Exodus is also a story of divine providence and the fulfillment of God's promises. From the burning bush, where God first appeared to Moses, to the final confrontation with Pharaoh, the narrative is a testament to God's unwavering commitment to his people. The initial resistance and the hardening of Pharaoh's heart, as described in the text, are part of a larger divine plan. God's purpose is not just to free the Israelites, but to demonstrate his power and sovereignty over all the gods of Egypt. The plagues, each targeting a specific aspect of Egyptian life and religion, are a series of divine judgments that culminate in the death of the firstborn. This final plague is the most severe and the most effective, breaking Pharaoh's will and forcing him to release the Israelites. The Exodus is not just a historical event, but a theological statement. It is a declaration that God is the true ruler of the universe, and that no human power, no matter how great, can stand against his will. The Israelites' journey from slavery to freedom is a powerful metaphor for the human experience, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, there is hope for deliverance. The Passover, with its rich symbolism and rituals, is a way of keeping this story alive, of passing it down from generation to generation, and of ensuring that the lessons of the Exodus are never forgotten. In the end, the night of the 10th plague was not just a night of terror, but a night of transformation. It was a night that marked the end of one era and the beginning of another. The Israelites, once a people in chains, were now a people on the move, a people with a purpose and a destiny. The Exodus is a story of faith, courage, and divine intervention, a story that continues to inspire and challenge those who hear it. It is a reminder that even in the face of the most daunting challenges, there is always a way forward, always a path to freedom. And so, as the dawn broke over the land of Egypt, the Israelites began their journey. They left behind the oppression and the pain, the tears and the blood, and set their sights on a new future. The road ahead was long and uncertain. But they were no longer alone. They were a people chosen by God, a people with a promise, and a people who would never forget the night that changed everything.